Hello everyone. Have you ever wondered how to secure the AWS Cloud Kingdom like a pro? Today we are diving deep into AWS IAM, Identity and Access Management, where access control meets cloud security. I am your friend Asma. Let's start. What is AWS IAM? IAM is one of the best services of AWS. It is identity and access management. It is the fundamental AWS service for managing user access to AWS resources securely. It enables control over who is authenticated, that means who is allowed to sign into your AWS account, and who is authorized, it means who has the permissions as a user or as a service to use the resources or the AWS services. IAM follows the principle of least privilege, ensuring users have only the necessary permission for their task. So it means that we should give the least privilege to the user so that they can do their services without compromising on the security of your AWS account. So we have a diagram. It's saying AWS identity and access management. Basically, it is a fine-grained access, fine-grained permissions we are giving to AWS resources and services. It means we are selectively giving the permissions to the users who can access various services or resources, and also who can access. So it means workforce users and workloads with IAM, so who can enter your AWS accounts. Then we have a set of policy or permissions says like who can access what all resources. So it is a set of a JSON document where it shows who can access the various services with which permissions, and then what can be accessed, like which resources can be accessed within your AWS organizations. So here are few important things in IAM: IAM user, IAM groups, IAM role, and IAM policy. Users are basically when we create an AWS account. In our last video, we have created a very first email. We have created an account with the very first email ID, and that is the root user. And the best practice is not to use the root user. So we will be creating IAM users in this video. So users are basically people in an organization. So under the AWS account, there are users who can access various services and various resources in AWS. Then we come to groups. Groups contains IAM users. Suppose developers contain a group of IAM users. A role is assumed by anyone who needs it. It can be a user and it can be a service. Like EC2 instance can create, EC2 instance can access the S3 bucket. So it is the EC2 instance is having a role. Then we have an IAM policy. IAM policy tells us what permissions or what things a user or a resource can access or not. So with the help of policy, you give permission to users and groups. Why is IAM crucial in today's world? Because of its security, compliance, efficiency, and scalability. Security means think of IAM as a vigilant gatekeeper of your AWS kingdom, regulating access and minimizing the chances of unauthorized actions. So, compliance: IAM ensures that AWS practices align with industry regulations and standard. So, the AWS services are compliant with the industry practices. Efficiency: I am allowing organization to fine tune their operations seamlessly, so they are more efficient in doing their work. Scalability: I am helps in growing with your organization and providing a solution that evolves along with your expanding AWS infrastructure. IAM roles for services. IAM roles for services is just like users. So, EC2 instance is assuming a role to create an S3 bucket, and to create objects in S3 bucket. AWS services need to perform actions on your behalf. So suppose AWS lambda role, a lambda execution role we can give for a lambda function to create an S3 bucket, or to perform something when when an object or when a file is added in an S3 bucket. Assign permissions to AWS services with IAM roles. For example, EC2 instance role, lambda execution role, or cloud formation role, and there are many more roles we can create according to
We
the
understood about AWS identity and access management. We will be doing hands-on in my next video. Stay tuned for my next video. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and let me know your feedback. Thank you so much. Bye.